Sony Kando trip. A time for a bunch of creators to get together and just love Sony. And all parts of Sony. Audio, imaging obviously, I am using an alpha camera right now, more on that in a second. And Xperia, PlayStation even though I didn't really see anybody during the days that I was here. But what I am going to take advantage of is the fact that you can actually get some gear and try it out. Try out the newest lenses, the newest camera bodies, and in my case, try out stuff that I actually never really use. So for the next few days, I'm going to be vlogging. You can look forward to a 3-part series here at the Sony Kando trip in Sun Valley, Idaho, using the Sony a7 IV. Yes, that is the camera that I decided to go for. And yeah, you're going to see throughout these next few days how this camera actually allowed me to vlog in a way that I haven't in some time, and I think that's why I'm kind of falling in love with it.
I actually filmed this part at the very end of the trip when I had to return the camera and I was using a completely different lens at this point than I was at the beginning in this first vlog. I was learning a lot even in just that first day, but what I didn't know was that this is the face of somebody who's about to buy a camera.
I mean, talk about a treasure trove of alpha cameras and lenses, GM lenses, all of that. I am actually really grateful to be here at the Kando trip, and it gives me the chance to actually try out one of the many alpha cameras. They even outfitted me with one that I didn't think I was even going to be able to try out for some time, the a7 IV. I have it with the 2470 right now, and I was able to just ask for it here at the gear area. This is also pro support, and there are a couple of other things happening here. But yeah, alpha camera for the next few days. Let's try this out. I feel like such an imposter here.
Because you picked up the gear already.
I had to, because I came here with non-Sony gear.
Oh shit, no, dude. I'm happy you got it. Nice. Which one you pick up, the a7 IV?
This one's a7 IV.
Hold on. Did you see what just happened? I had the camera in manual focus for whatever reason at the beginning of this clip. In the middle of recording, I moved it over to continuous autofocus, and it not only got me accurately, it did it with the quickness.
I went with the 2470 because I usually use primes. So I figured one all-around lens for everything I'm going to do for the next few days. I figured that would be a good choice. And f2.8 is my favorite anyway, so I don't really go any lower than
You're not going to have any problems with light here. I mean, as long as you're not shooting at night, you should be perfectly fine.
Even then, you know, full frame.
Pretty good. Yeah, no, absolutely.
All right, this is awesome. Did you already get set
No,
up?
I'm way underpacked, but yeah, we'll
I know. I didn't bring a whole lot of stuff.
Well, I'm traveling. That's the problem.
Yeah.
After this, I'm going to Europe, so I can't really bring everything.
I'm still learning this camera, so I finally figured out why the aperture wasn't where I wanted it to be. We're good now. Got the nice bokeh in the background on this 24-70 f2.8. This is the latest one, by the way, and it's really light. This might be the lightest and also most reliable vlogging rig that I've used, mainly because this autofocus is something that I can really rely on. TK's right here doing the flat lay. Here at the Kando trip, there are a lot of little challenges and a lot of little activities that they're making sure that we are able to do. And one of them is this flat lay thing where you could just show off the gear that you brought for the trip. And once you do that, you will be able to get a special edition hoodie, and you know that we're going to want them hoodies.
Since I went to the gear checkout immediately, I used the Sony camera and microphone as part of this flat lay, so technically it's a little bit of a lie because normally it would be a Panasonic camera. If there's anything that is truly genuine about this flat lay, it's that protein bar at the end.
One thing I should have remembered to get is an ND filter, so unfortunately some of the shots are going to be blown out as I attempt to figure out exactly what shutter speed and aperture I should be using for all of this. But in any case, here is a look at the Kando trip here in Sun Valley, Idaho. We're at the Sun Valley Resorts, the Sun Valley Inn in my case, and yeah, just a bunch of activities that are going to be happening over the next few days, and I'm going to be able to share all of that with you using a Sony Alpha camera, so this is going to be a really great time.
Clearly I was learning a lot even in this first day. Even though it was really nice to have the 24-70mm, the G Master Mark II, at 24mm I had to keep stabilization at standard, which meant it's pretty shaky. I would rectify this a little bit later by going to yet another brand new lens that Sony recently put out.
Already did a couple of things immediately. I went over to do the flat lay, and I'm trying to find some food now since we have the afternoon free for the rest for today. Look at those guys. Look at these guys over here.
Clearly the environs were going to be perfect for inspiring us to shoot, to film, to do whatever with these Sony cameras. For this first day though, we were going to be sticking to the resort grounds, but there was plenty to enjoy.
just asked me just asked me what the duck narrative is. I don't know, but I'm just going to put it this way. I love ducks. So I love this more.
Peking duck is great though.
It is dope.
Yeah.
Don't tell that duck that.
Yeah, don't do it.
This is my first time in Idaho, and I don't know what to expect, but the nature is beautiful, and I'm gonna use this camera to try and capture most of it. Not most of it. I'm not really a nature person, so.
I'm pausing here just to appreciate just how sharp this image is. This is a simple vlog, but I have to appreciate things when I see them. Speaking of appreciating things, that was exactly what we were doing on this first night of the Kando trip. Everyone coming together, everyone from tech people like you just saw to many photographers across the YouTube space, and we're all just geeking out over cameras and smartphones and just the work that we do in general. And Sony made it very clear that they were going to provide as many subjects as possible for us to enjoy and learn about the alpha camera. So you saw models and various types of acts all over the place for us to shoot.
It feels good to vlog. It just feels good to vlog again.
That is the most Josh Vergara thing I've ever heard in my life. Feels good to vlog.
I just haven't done it in a long time, and it's super easy on this thing. That's why I'm like, this feels good.
I have missed you, Josh.
Please welcome Matt Parnell.
I can't even describe how amazing it feels for me, for everybody to just see you all together in person. It's been far, far too long for all of us.
Sometimes you're given just the right tool, and just by using it, it opens up your brain to like the possibilities and to all of the ways that you can actually use it for what you would do every single day. That's exactly what's going on with this Sony a7 IV. Now, it is a premium camera, obviously, and it's a completely new system, which would mean whole new lenses and whatnot, but honestly, I have been having a blast already on this first day just using it. All right, I'm getting ahead of myself here, but that is a main takeaway that I'm having on this day one of the Sony Kando trip. This trip is when Sony brings together a bunch, like 250 plus creators from all different parts of the creator spectrum. You can have like tech YouTubers like myself, photographers, wedding photographers, audio people, like you can have all of these people, and they actually bring them all to one location. In this case, Sun Valley, Idaho, at this particular resort with a lovely backdrop that is used to test out a bunch of cameras and products. But yeah, everyone is here, and it's just like cultivating this sense of community so that everyone is able to like come together, talk with one another about the creator lifestyle, and to actually synergize and even just sort of geek out on products like cameras like this. Usually when it comes to my other cameras, and of course I have my Panasonic camera here, it felt a little bit weird bringing it, but I knew I was going to be able to borrow cameras during the Kando trip. Normally on my Panasonic cameras, I use prime lenses. I just like using primes. They kind of put me in the mindset of giving me one focal length and then figuring things out from there. But something like this 24 to 70 millimeter f2.8 lens, this is the G Master lens Mark II actually, this will allow for me to have all of those focal ranges in just one lens. Even if it's a little bit large, the lens itself is a lot lighter than it was in the previous edition. Being able to vlog so effectively and easily on a camera like this that you can really rely upon in terms of autofocus and for the general performance, man, it's been fun to just vlog again, and you can see it in my face as I'm vlogging during this video. I haven't vlogged like this in a long time, and this camera is making me really enjoy it. But to end this day one of the Kando trip vlog, and yes, I am vlogging, I am going to try vlogging throughout this trip, I wanted to show off some of the stuff that Sony actually gave to creators that are coming on this trip. It all came in this very lovely bag right here. Has the Kando trip logo on here. You know I'm going to end up using this felt tote for a lot of stuff. Let's start with a couple of the obvious things. We have ourselves a water bottle. Definitely going to want to use this, stay hydrated throughout the days that we are here and maybe running around getting photos and videos. Magnetic name tag, something that I've been wearing all day. A lot of the stuff that was added into here are camera centric. These are the Tough line. Not only is there a 64 gigabyte SD card, one that I'm going to use tomorrow. I'm actually using my usual SD card right now, but there's also a 500 gigabyte
hard drive right here. I mentioned that Sony Audio is here as well, and we have ourselves a wireless speaker. The bass may not be amazing, but it already is a nice speaker to have in a hotel room or a resort like this when you want to just have some fun stuff in the background playing. This one I'm actually really stoked about. I already have a pair of Link Buds S, but it's great to have another pair. This is actually the other color of the Link Buds S. I didn't have that, so now I have both. Clean white editions right here. There's actually something kind of special you can do with the items that were included in the swag bag, and I'll show that off in the next vlog. Yep, Kando Trip playing cards. Why did I think that would work? And finally, probably my favorite thing out of the bunch, this is a microphone, a very special microphone, shotgun mic that goes right into the hot shoe of a Sony camera, and there are no wires. It literally does all of its processing, all of the audio capture through the hot shoe, and it actually has a lot of different settings that you can just tweak on the back. It is literally the microphone that I'm using right now with the A7 IV and with this lens, of course. So this is the audio that's coming out of it. I have had people like Thunder E and David Kogan, the Unlocker, really swear by this microphone. So to be able to try it out on one of these Sony cameras, perfect. It was in the swag bag, and now I have a Sony camera to actually put it on for this week. I might interpret Kando as something a little bit different, at least for just my own personal experience. I'm very grateful to have this opportunity to actually dive deep into Sony products. This is not an opportunity that you get like this very often. Just being able to go over and get like any gear that you want, really get to know the camera in and out, use it in a situation that they literally put you in that is picturesque and is a very sort of safe space, because I was actually lamenting the fact that I brought a Panasonic camera to a Sony event, knowing that I was going to get gear from them to try out, but still feeling a little bit weird, like having a little bit of that imposter syndrome. But to see that everyone was so open about it, and the fact that Sony was so open about just letting all of us have gear to try out for these days. Granted, I do have a light, but I bring that with me pretty much everywhere at this point. But to just put this camera onto a tripod, hit record, not worry a whole lot, and be able to just talk like this, yeah, I haven't done that in a long time, and I feel like this camera is supporting me actually doing that. And I'm going to see what else it will be able to provide me in the experience here at the Sony Kando trip. With all that said though, I'm going to go ahead and call it on this one. I do have to wake up super early so that I can try out this camera at the Botanical Gardens at sunrise, so I better get to bed. Thank you so much again for hanging out with me in this video. Please take care of yourselves and each other, and enjoy your tea, everybody.